Today on Thrive Smarter, we're going to talk about how to best leverage AI to help you in your business. I'm also going to share some data about the number of touch points it takes for a member of your audience to know, like, and trust you enough to click that buy now button. My name's Cree. I am the host of Thrive Smarter and the founder of Thrive Solopreneur Collective. This is where we start the conversation, and then at the end of this episode, join me over in the community where we'll keep the conversation going. Let's get ready to thrive. If this is your first time tuning in to Thrive Smarter, welcome. My name is Cree Edholm, and I started this community because as a solopreneur myself, it can get lonely, and I have a desire to not only connect with other people just from a social perspective, but also as a place to go when I need help in my business. Maybe somebody out there is doing something better than I am, or there's new tools and there's new ways of doing things. That's what this community is all about. So you are tuning into the Thrive Smarter podcast today. What you can do is head on over to community.thrivesoloco.com and subscribe. You will get notified anytime a new topic comes out. And if you'd like to comment on the topic, be a part of the conversation, or join me at my monthly Thrive Live virtual meeting, then there is a monthly subscription available to you. And again, this is for deeper conversation and connection here at Thrive. So today we are going to dive into a little more detail about AI. I've covered some high-level kind of thoughts about the platform in general. I do have some other thoughts about where things are going from here. But first, we're going to start talking about how to actually use AI in your business. So if you haven't used ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or any of those tools, it really doesn't matter which one you're using at this point, but I do invite you to hop in, check it out. There is a lot of hate that I'm getting by talking about AI. So I know there's people who are skeptical out there. There's also a big conversation right now about data centers and the usage of AI. And we're in the Wild West right now. So I think as we become more savvy users or we figure out exactly how to use these tools, well, we're kind of along for the ride. I'm of the opinion that if the tech is there for me to help me in my business, I'm going to use it, but I'm going to use it responsibly, and I'm also going to advocate to use it responsibly. So that's kind of my stance on AI, and you as a business owner, it's really up to you how you decide to utilize these tools and what makes you feel good about using them. So just keep that in mind. Now, you can just open up a prompt and start chatting away. And the great thing about AI is that these are ongoing conversations. So it isn't like search engines where you just search for one item, you get a ton of results, and then you have to fish through those results. So think of AI as a conversation. The better you can get at creating prompts ahead of time, the less amount of time you're going to spend chatting back and forth. So dive in there and experiment and get a feel for these platforms. But really in your business, the easiest way to leverage AI in your business is, first of all, take a moment. If you're a morning person, a night person, but sit down and start taking notes. Start collecting information about the tasks that you do all the time, repeatable tasks. Something that if you had an admin or a person on your team, you could give these tasks to someone else. So that's how I like to approach AI. So one example of this is a social media content creation, right? That is kind of a Pandora's box. I'm not going to get into social media content. I will in a future episode, though. I do want to dive into exactly how to use and leverage AI for your social media content. But one great way to start to use AI is to have it put a marketing plan together. So upload any information you have about your business to AI, to whatever platform you're using, and then identify your audience, identify your business goals, and have it put a 6-month marketing plan together. Make sure that you have very clear goals as to what it is that you want to do. The more clear you are about those business goals, the better this marketing plan is going to be. So a marketing plan is really designed to get you leads, to get you out in front of people, to get people to know, like, and trust you, right? That's that marketing. And then sales is actually closing the deal. So we're putting a marketing plan together, and this is going to help you identify a plan that you can stick to for, in this example, 6 months, so that you can execute on that plan. Other things that I use AI for repeatable tasks are writing content, writing emails, creating tasks, organizing my day, organizing all of my meetings so that I'm prepared with meeting notes ahead of time, sending out invoices, contract creation. These are the types of repeatable tasks that I do in my business on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So these are the types of repeatable tasks that once you start writing down, start your list and then keep that list open. So as you're working in your business, write down all the tasks that you may have forgotten so that you have a complete list of items. So this is a way to leverage AI. And once you have that task list together, this is when you can start asking AI how to turn these repeatable tasks into automations. You want to get to a point in your business where you've set up systems that once a trigger takes place, for instance, a trigger could be somebody signed up for your email list and or you have a new client, then what happens next? So this is where you're going to leverage AI to help you with these repeatable tasks. The assistance you're going to get is either operating procedures to handle these repeatable tasks so that you're not fumbling around, so you have things more organized. That's a great way to automate your business. Or maybe it's something that AI can help you build out. So the second step you're going to take is once you have all those repeatable tasks, make a second list. The second list is going to be all of the tools that you have and you're using within your business. So some examples for my business is I use a contract and invoice tool called Bonsai, and this helps me automate contracts and also monthly invoicing or whatever my invoicing cadence might look like. So by the way, I'm a service-based business, so your examples might be a little different if you are selling products or services. So consider this as an example of a repeatable task, and this is how I'm asking AI to help make these workflows more efficient and or to create automations in my business. Another tool I use is QuickBooks. That's how I manage all of my accounting, and I have a bookkeeper who helps me with all of my reporting that is business related. And then other repeatable tasks for me, I kind of mentioned earlier, is creating content for my business, organizing my week so that I have all of my meetings set up. They're set up at certain times. I can have meeting notes available ahead of time, and that's all organized for me. Some other repeatable tasks are creating images for a lot of the work that I work on. I own a video production company, so I work in video editing tools. But if you're the owner of a business, I guarantee you're also working in editing because you're creating videos for your business. And if you aren't doing it now, it might be something that you can do in the future. So repeatable tasks, all the tools that you're using. So I have all the software that I use to manage these types of things. I use Metricool to manage my social media. I use Final Cut Pro to edit my videos and some other tools that help me with automation. So the point here is you have your entire list of repeatable tasks that you do all the time, and then you have your list of tools that you have or you are subscribed to now. And this is what you're going to put into ChatGPT. And the prompt may look something like, help me automate onboarding for new clients. This is what I would like for that workflow to look like, or the workflow that I have now. These are the tools that I have subscriptions to in my business. And now you're asking AI to take all of this information and suggest an optimized workflow for whatever that ongoing task is. Also ask it to suggest improvements to your workflow. Ask it to suggest new tools that you might want to consider that could make your workflow more efficient. And you're trimming everything down to the least common denominator so that as you identify the things that you do most often, you want to be able to trigger something and it does the rest. So that's where you're getting to when it comes to your business is how can you best utilize your time? And AI is going to help you save a lot of time by creating these automations. So AI isn't at the point where you can send it a task per se. You still have to trigger that task and feed it data, and then it can give you some sort of an outcome. But for now, you're just utilizing AI to help you optimize all your workflows. Now, when it comes to new tools, this is a learning curve for any solopreneur, including myself. And once you purchase a new tool that AI may suggest, you do have to learn the tool. So this is something that I'm going to start doing here on the channel, is if you can share some tools that you're looking at, I'm going to start providing tool reviews for you so that you can take a look as to how I might use tools in my business to make things as efficient as possible. So we'll put a little context behind the tool usage, how to set everything up, and then how to get it so that hopefully it's automating portions of your business and ultimately you're going to save time. So there's a lot of work that goes on the front end to building all of this out. But with the help of AI, it's going to reduce the amount of time that you have to do research to figure out, first of all, what is the best workflow to use for your type of business or whatever it is that you're working on. And then secondly, what are the best tools out there? What should I be considering? Because there are costs associated with tools, and you want to make sure that not only are you saving time, but you're also saving money. So this is my favorite way to utilize AI right now. Now, if you notice, I'm not just handing everything over to AI and trusting it. I have talked about this extensively on my channel. You're going to hear more about this when we start talking about how to create social media content, email content, newsletter content, all the stuff that you are using for your business. When you create that content, you don't want to give AI the final say. I should make this a tagline. Do not give AI the final say in your business because it's going to sound like everybody else out there. So you always want to have that final touch, the thing that personalizes your content, your workflows, the way that you do business. You always want to have your eyes on whatever it is before you send it out or share it out or start utilizing it in your business. So that's how I think you as a business owner can best utilize AI right now and get the most out of these tools. Use it to help you identify how to run your business as efficiently as possible. There's plenty of tools out there, and this can certainly help you do that. Now let's talk about marketing touch points. So we're talking about automating your workflows, automating your touch points. In the last episode of Thrive Smarter, I spoke a lot about being authentic in your business. I think the more people are using these automation tools and really seeing AI on social media, the thing that's going to make you stand out is if you're just yourself. You don't sound like a robot. You don't sound like everybody else that's punching in prompts into AI and getting out the same answer. So you want to make sure that you're being your authentic self. And what it's going to take is the number 8 right now seems to be the magic number of touch points that it's going to take for you to connect with your audience before they're going to click the buy now button, reach out and ask for a consultation, hire you for whatever your services are. And this doesn't mean that they're going to watch or tune in 8 consecutive times. That number 8 could look like 12 months of them seeing your content 8 times. Maybe it's 24 months of them seeing your content 8 times. And I do want to clarify that this data is coming from long form video from YouTube. So if you are creating videos on YouTube, it's going to take at least 8 times for somebody to maybe tune in and buy into whatever it is that you're saying or click the buy now button. If you're not sure if an automation idea you have is going to actually work in your business and you've tried plugging it into AI and you're not really sure about the answers and you're just feeling a little uncomfortable, this is what the Thrive community is for. Head on over to community.thrivesoloco.com. And if you do sign up to be a paid member, then feel free to leave a comment and we can start this conversation. And I'm happy to chime in and start helping you on your way. And then also join us at the next Thrive Live. So that's it for this week on Thrive Smarter. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, we're going to start talking about social media marketing, how to best not only reach a new audience, but also to make sure that the audience continues to stick around. You have engagement, you're actually growing your business, kind of what that looks like. It'll probably be a multi-part conversation because there's a lot to it. It's not so straightforward, as you probably already know if you're working in your business. So that's the plan for moving forward. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again